What's up, free enterprise heads? Welcome to the thick of the brackets. I'm Muppets in Space, and with me on the microphone is the most regal of fire-breathing winged beauties, the crowned princess of Crystal Warriors, Imperial Dragon. Madam Dragon, how are you doing?
Doing good. Looking at it, looks like so far we got moonblazewolf doing Persona 5 themed character name.
I love it. I love it. Quick shout outs to our restream team. Dathis, hashtag Vanilla or Bust, who is doing the restreaming right now. And Ravlin's on the tracker, making sure that everyone knows what the heck is going on, including myself. It's a good matchup so far, Imperial. The winner of this one goes on to play against Nabla, the fearless Edward Slinger. Madam Dragon, what should we look to see from these runners? What do we know about them?
People always ask me this. I have trouble with that.
It's all right. I don't know a whole lot either, other than I've seen Moonblaze in a couple of different seeds. Tends to do a pretty straight up strats. Not a whole lot of risk reward. I don't know a whole lot about Kohrek. Have you seen Kohrek?
I'm trying to remember. It's been a little while. I'm 90% sure he ended up raising my brother, so...
Oh, okay.
So I actually had watched him at least once.
Absolutely. And you got to know that if they're this far into the brackets, they're going to be top tier. Looking at some of the best out here. But let's set that aside for just a second while they set up their stuff. And I got a fun random question that I always ask people. So what's your favorite awful boss and boss location?
It's a tie. Lately, it's a tie between, what was it? Well, the usual favorite is the ever so popular ridiculous ones like Kanazo over at the Rubicant spot.
Oh, yeah.
Though one more recently that I kind of liked was Wyvern at the Massamune spot.
Yes. That's the Ogopogo spot, right?
Yep.
Oh, baby. Yeah, whenever Wyvern replaces the Nope Noodle, it gets double Nope, at least out of me. It looks like our runners have started now. We got our fade out. Everybody's starting with a Sid. We got a bearded old engineer and a bearded old sage right alongside him.
Old man seed.
It's an old man seed, and the old men have a rat tail. And not a whole lot else to their name right there. At least they got a decent amount of thump to start with, 750 hit points on Sid, and the potential for a very wide, expansive list of spells from Tella, assuming you do Mount Ordeals.
With this start, I would definitely not skip Ordeals.
Yeah. Fading Ordeals would probably prove to be a little bit of a tough scenario, but what do we get for our 5 objectives? Vanilla White Spear, Waterfall, Mylan Z, rescue the Hobbs character. Didn't see what the third one is there. So we got the Vanilla White Spear altar, gotta go to the moon. Defeat the king in the town of monsters, so the Leviathan spot.
That one can be interesting or very easy, depending on what you get there.
Absolutely. You see King, Queen, Eblon in that spot, and suddenly you're off to the races. Defeat the king in the town of monsters is fine. Defeat the boss of the waterfall. Is that the Octoman spot?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so that's actually going to be a really quick one. Defeat Mylan Z, so you have at least one boss hunt, everybody's favorite thing. And then find the value in Sealed Cave. What is that? What is the... I don't think that that's actually what it is. What's the 5th objective? Okay, that's what I thought. I want to know what the 5th objective is. Rescue the hostage on Mount Hobbs. I just said it. So this is an incredible jet seed. If you find Mylan Z, you're in the money. Mylan Z and a darkness crystal gets you the whole thing.
Very true. This could be a very speedy seed. Time will tell.
Now, what's interesting, I just saw Moonblaze go right to the waterfall boss, saw that it was rubescent, and then just reset out of it. What's going on with that? That's one of the objectives.
Either didn't feel comfortable doing it yet, or just forgot that it was an objective.
Maybe. More than likely, probably not incredibly confident in this. And Mount Hobbs is free. Freer than free. My goodness.
That means the Beigen spot was Gauntlet.
Oh, yeah! That's right. We saw the other blue hooded sprite right there. So we've got Alt Gauntlet in the Beigen location. Water Hag on Mount Hobbs being free. This is going to be one of the objectives right out of the gate that is just taken care of. We don't get an extra character, which is not too bad, given that we've got more than enough physical thump coming out of Sid, and we've got an expanded spell list that is going to be available from Tella right out of the Mount Ordeals climb. Plus, he's Old Man Exit, so you can check the back of Hobbs just fine right here.
Yeah, I love having Exit.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of people really dogged on Tella as a character for a long time, but I absolutely adore having Tella in the party. Just instantaneous early exit, access to Cure 2, and then an expanded spell list after Ordeals. You have access to Weak, which gives you a D-Machine grind viability. You have access to Virus. You've got access to Stone, which is a one-shot kill for a bunch of different free boss locations. It's a very, very useful utility character.
Yeah, it's just he doesn't really have the greatest stats to go with it.
Well, he doesn't have the greatest stats at all. A lot of people have taken to using him in a strictly support setting, especially in the final fight, a source of Berserk, and a source of agility anchoring, which a lot of people have figured out an awful lot more about these days. Get more accurate agility anchoring. Here we see our first dive down into a dungeon. Moonblaze doing the Antlion Cave and found a Gaia drum in one of the locations. So that right there is going to be some big damage. Those very necessary and highly valuable J items that are so rare in these flags.
Yeah, and with this party at this point, it definitely will be useful.
Yeah, you don't have a whole lot of spell damage right now. Not until you get access to the third level elemental attacks from Tella. Sid can swing it for a little bit at the very least and does decent damage to start with.
Bahamut at Antlion.
Bahamut at Antlion. It's a damage race. I think 4 rounds from Mr. Beard right over there is going to take it down.
Yeah,
He's doing
this is not
240.
gonna be too bad.
Yeah, it's also a very slow spot, too. Just making sure it gets it done with that Fire 1 edition. And now we've got them both side by side here. Kohrek is about to go into the fight as Moonblaze is done with the fight. This is pretty standard. You see a lot of convergence early on.
Baron Key.
Wow. Baron Key is a pretty good one that opens up 2 checks. You've got 2 boss locations, including 1 key item location, and then you've got the Odin portion immediately following, beating whoever is sitting on the throne. See what's going on with Moonblaze now. Interesting. Now, this is something that I haven't seen a whole lot of, Imperial. Going into the watery cave to loot. I've never done that as a runner of this like years ago. Do you have any idea when this changed?
It's specific to this flag set. It's actually one of the spots that's got a slightly better loot potential due to it being out of the way.
Got it. And that explains the tiara and the elven bow that Moonblaze just picked up behind the waterfall there. A couple of very good treasure chests. Meanwhile, Kohrek is going right into the Fabul Gauntlet spot with Moonblaze hot on Kohrek's tails. So we've got a little bit of a back and forth going on right now.
I've actually been seeing a lot more people skip Fabul and come back for it later than I've seen people actually doing it at the beginning.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot too, especially from people who are just running in practice. You see a lot of people wanting to avoid the double dip of Fabul, making sure they can get into the underground first, see Yang so that they can do the Fabul Gauntlet spot and then immediately go to the right-hand tower and talk to Sheila for a second key item. But it looks like Moonblaze doesn't give 2 figs about that. He's definitely just going to do this check right now and move on.
To be honest, I still sometimes, when I'm playing this, actually just go straight here because, or for early on rather than waiting, because you can have those times where the underground access is underneath.
Yeah, absolutely. You feel a little silly if you see a magma key behind that and you've spent about 35 minutes going hook.
But that is definitely not a magma key.
It's definitely not a magma key. Hero robes are very, very nice, though. We don't have anyone to wear them yet, but it's still a nice pickup.
It's nice as long as they get a female character.
Absolutely. There's still plenty of them to choose from. We only have seen 2 characters so far. There's going to be 5 more available. We see these runners really benefiting from the quadruple damage that Sid's hammers do against robot-type enemies, which Dr. Luge's second form is indeed a robot-type enemy. So we've got exits for sale in Fabul. Not particularly useful given the fact that we've got a Tella. And Tella's doing the work on that.
But if you happen to run out of MP on Tela, it does not hurt to have a couple of exit items in your inventory.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true, Imperial. It's always good to have backups. And at what, 100 gold per? Oh, it's 2,000 gold, excuse me. But still, 2,000 gold's not going to break the bank these days.
Yeah, if it was 100, if it was still the old price, I would probably buy a lot more than 1 or 2.
I even forget what the old price was. It's been so long since the old prices applied. Feels like an eon ago.
And regarding exits, I really dislike having to take the Walk of Shame out of a place I could exit out of because I don't have the MP to do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Kohrek just went over, saw silk webs, and says, yes, please, sells out a little bit and buys 3 of them. Not a whole lot left, and that's all that's really available as far as good stuff in Troya.
Well, to be honest, compared to some of the times I've been in those shops, that's plenty.
Yeah, it can be enough. It can be enough. Chat pointing out that mute arrows are available in Silvera. Mute arrows being some of the more valuable arrows, in addition to being really, really good normal damage. They do quad damage against mage-type enemies, and there are a ton of those mage-type enemies, including the infamous Ashura.
Yeah, definitely good to have a bunch of mute arrows.
Yeah, even back in the day, I would buy stack after stack of mute arrows. Just in case. If I didn't use them, it was still a good purchase. It sells out a bunch of those fire armors for... I'm thinking a stack of 40. A stack of 40 is pretty good. That'll get you through most of the game, 40 arrows. What do you think?
Yeah, if you've got only one person with a bow, that should be no problem. If you end up with multiple, it might be a little rougher.
Yeah, it might be a little rough. Right now, we only have 1 bowman. Little known fact about Sid, can equip bows and arrows. Or at least it was little known until goes up, buys a succubus, which is interesting. I like the move because that gives Tela the ability to absorb MP from another source. And if you're going to take a D-Machine grind, that gives you a few more uses of weak, which can really make the difference.
Yep.
Especially if you don't have Ether 1s. So we see a lot of shopping percent right here, but once again, our runners side by side in this, going after the Baron infight and perhaps even going deep into Baron Castle. Kohrek setting up while Moonblaze actually takes the fight and finds Pale Dim there.
Well, Quake Kid's definitely not something to sneeze at.
Absolutely, especially early on. Quake at level 23 or 22, something like that. I forget the specifics, it's one of those.
Yeah, I usually don't think as much about the number of the level, I just sort of worry about, okay, does he have it yet?
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. When you're grinding, it's like, do I have the thing yet? Hey, I have the thing, I can move on now. Pale Dim's not going to do too much damage, but having the 4 fiends behind that could actually prove to be problematic.
Yeah, that fire didn't actually do that much damage.
Yeah, the magic damage in this spot is not huge. The physical damage can get off the hook. And Moonblaze showing off the power of J items using that Gaia drum right there on the Rubicent form and taking it down, and we have underground access.
Well, we have hook access. Let's see how bad the underground is going to be to access.
Absolutely, that's true. We don't know what's behind the rat tail, and that will be an immediate check from Moonblade. Perhaps the rat tail gives Magma Key, and you don't have to do the hook route. But it's definitely a hook-required seed one way or the other, because you got to get down into the underground in order to get there.
Well, Chet has a point. There is also the possibility that the magma key could be hiding in Baron, in the castle.
That's true, and also Magma Key could be in Ordeals, which we haven't done yet. So there are some possibilities right now. As far as the easy checks are concerned, this is the last easy check that they've got.
Pass is not anything to sneeze at.
Yeah, you absolutely cannot turn your nose up at a pass. Gives you moon access no matter where you are, whether you're in the moon or whether you're in the overworld on the Earth. Moonblaze is not going to waste any more time. Definitely going to go right to Ordeals. Wants that expanded spell list from Tella, and I can't say that I blame him.
Yeah, Tella is definitely kinda difficult to work with until he has his full list.
Definitely has some utility in the beginning if you use things like Power Staff, perhaps a Silence Staff if you see a Mage type enemy or something like that. But aside from that, in the very, very early boss locations, it is a slog to try to deal with Tella as your main source of damage before you do this check. We see Moonblaze equipping the Elven Bow, which gives a cheeky +5 to Wisdom. It's going to increase the pop behind Palom's spells, which isn't going to mean a whole lot right now. Palom is level 10 and only has access to the level 1 elemental spells, but give him a few levels, you'll get access to Fire, Ice, and Lit too.
And Kohrek's got his hook now.
Kohrek's got the hook. Gonna do a little looting. Moonblaze finds the officer-soldier fight in the front of the Ordeals Bridge.
And Kohrek just got lives.
Kohrek got life potions and is going to check one of the gated shops. So you get some good stuff out of these gated shops. Oh, baby, you got Earth Hammers, you got Ogre Axe, you've got Wizard Robes, you've got a bunch of stuff that under any other circumstances you would be salivating over. And in these flags, you would absolutely want some of that gear, but unfortunately you just don't have the gold for it.
Oh, Leviathan in the back attack spot. Shouldn't be too bad if I remember right, but let's see. Okay, let me rephrase that. Yes, that is definitely not the nicest.
That is suboptimal. And
Yes.
the only person that doesn't one-shot is Sid.
Yes, apparently, chat, I did remember that one wrong.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's an incredible amount of damage. And the worst part about this is that while Big Wave itself is not a problem, Big Wave in tandem with the high damage that comes out of those Ice 2s is going to be an incredibly big ordeal to get around. Ha! Pun not quite intended. Goes ahead and Star Veils up to reflect those Ice 2s. That's actually going to help him out a lot because that 584 damage is probably a lot more than what he could put out himself.
Yeah, it's nice that he doesn't absorb the Ice 2s that are reflected back at him.
Absolutely. It looks like Moonblaze has this particular encounter under control. It was just a little bit of a shock to get out in the beginning. Pumping out those Cure 2s, making sure everything is copacetic for the Big Bopper. Reflected Ice 2 for just about 500.
And it looks like Kohrek's gone for the hook.
Now, what's interesting here is Moonblaze is pumping out Ice 2s of his own. One more level would have given him some Lit 2s that Leviathan would be actually weak to. But it doesn't really matter because we've got Shake, Rattle, and Roll, and he is through that Leviathan fight.
Yep.
Now, Kohrek is doing something a little interesting here. I think is looking for another character.
And gonna be disappointed there.
Gonna be very disappointed. A third Tella for the seed.
Oh, that's Odin at the Rubicant spot.
Yeah, Odin at Rubicant is not friendly. That is a not friendly encounter at all. It is fast. There are a lot of hit points you have to chew through, and the magic damage can also really stack out on you. 16 to 2200 damage for that Odin shot. There isn't a whole lot you can do against that spot unless you've got access to some good solid lit 3 thumb.
Yeah. Also, ordeals, not necessarily the greatest result. A spoon.
Well, the spoon is a key item, and the big result that you get out of ordeals in this case is an expanded spell list for your Tella. But as far as progression goes, not so much.
The good part is it does count as a key item, so there is that for the XP bonus.
Yeah, we see Kohrek doing a loot fest on the way out and finds an hourglass too. That's gonna be real nice. Hourglasses at a premium nowadays because they stop everything that basically doesn't have the boss bit, that isn't immune to stop. It hits automatically and it lasts a long, long time. Use that in the old days to do a gold dragon grind. It's also a great source of cheesing some of those quote-unquote free bosses, the ones without the boss bit.
Very true. I admit I got so used to using hourglasses that this flag set was kind of
Oh yeah.
And looks like Kohrek's heading back out.
Yeah, Kohrek, after doing a little looting, a lot of looting, and being disappointed by what character Kohrek found there, is gonna go do a little shopping percent, probably gonna hit up ordeals. And with that, Kohrek is actually looking like he's behind Moonblaze by just a few minutes, depending on what Moonblaze does here on the back end.
And some more shopping percent.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of shopping percent, and the thing that Kohrek has that Moonblaze may not have right now is foreknowledge of who's in the Rubicon spot. Kohrek might be thinking, oh lord, I need to figure out some way of doing some semblance of damage to this guy because I'm in deep, deep trouble otherwise. And there's the ordeals play right there, which you what?
There's a chest in here. Or
He's getting a chocobo. What?
oh.
That
was the chest.
He missed! I love it. He gets a drain sword, which you can sell for like 5k, and that's about it.
May not have necessarily been worth the time to go for it, but hey. It's an item.
Kohrek's inventory is already full.
And Moonblaze is checking out Baron Castle.
All right. Well, this Baron Castle play is interesting just because Moonblaze doesn't even know what awaits him down in the depths of Upper Babel with Odin at the Rubicon spot. You got to think that Kohrek's actually going to make this play anyway, because he's like, no thank you, I would like to find a different way underground, please.
Yeah. I know I'd probably be looking for any way underground that wasn't Lubbock at this point.
Absolutely. So now we get to see Alt Gauntlet. And this is one of my favorite additions to Free Enterprise. Because the Gauntlet, as you know, the Fabul Gauntlet is a predetermined thing with Weepers, Imp Captains, a cheeky water hag. You got officer soldiers in there. I think there's a gargoyle in there as well or something like that. But Boardface and the development team had decided that that's just a little too predictable and boring. What if we made the Gauntlet actually reflect the place that you find it? And that is exactly what you're seeing right here. Each of these encounters is all of the encounters that you can get, or of the encounters you can get in the location underground Baron, the watery pass. Is that underground? What is that called?
I think it's a sewer or something like that. I'm not positive.
Yeah, something like that. But it is a wonderful addition. It takes the predictability out, and also you get a little bit more experience out of the fight too, if I'm not mistaken.
But there are times and there are spots that it goes from being nice XP to, oh god, why?
Absolutely. You find it in the Ogopogo spot. You're fighting dragons for 3 out of 7 fights. You're fighting evil masks, mines, and it's just a nightmare. I've done it once. I care never to do it again. Ugh, Kohrek is having just a nightmarish time against Leviathan right now.
But he's got the veil up, so that should help fix it up a little.
Yeah, and Big Wave is only going to do 1/4 damage, so that's not gonna kill him outright. And I think that perhaps Palom has enough lasting power, as well as enough pop coming out of the spells to take him down solo. Although he's gonna raise Sid, which is an interesting play with Big Wave coming out right behind him. And the beautiful thing about the Alt Gauntlet is exactly what Light is talking about there is, oh yeah, Aqua Worms, I forgot about them. It's like you play this enough and you forget about most of the random encounters that you would ever see in this game in the first place. So it's kind of cool to see and be rewarded for vanilla knowledge a little bit in these weird, hardly ever seen encounters. It's a nice little kiss of color.
It's definitely a lot more colorful. It was definitely a good improvement.
It is a wonderful improvement, absolutely. Just barely gets a star veil up in time, does Kohrek. And Kohrek looks like has abandoned the idea of raising people and is just going solo Palom on Mount Ordeals. You can't be feeling too particularly good about sinking that much time into this fight, even though it's shake, rattle, and roll and he's done.
Yeah, that is a lot of time to be wasting.
It's a lot of time to be investing in an Ordeals play, but it's sort of seems necessary, especially given what Kohrek has found, because Tella is going to be your biggest source of damage currently. Great recovery from Kohrek to take care of that fight, though. It's very, very good. And speaking of investing a lot of time, Moonblaze is still in Alt Gauntlet right now. And there it is. Moonblaze is done with Alt Gauntlet, actually. And learns Virus with Palom, which is one of the most important spells that Palom can learn. Single target, non-elemental damage, can be multi-target if you want, but inflicts sap. And does bonus damage to human-type enemy, I believe? Something like that?
I'm actually not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either. I've just sort of heard about something like that. But it's done wonders for boosting damage output from Palom. Anytime you see it, it's definitely better than a level 2 elemental spell, unless you're talking about elemental weaknesses. And Mom Bomb in the Crystal Palace area on top of Mount Ordeals. Stay Puffed Marshmallow Bomb turns into the Cluster of 6, and then it's just pick them off one at a time.
Oh, Moonblaze just... Did Moonblaze go back to the save point?
Moonblaze went back to the save point under Baron. Did not want to do that alt Gauntlet fight again, just in case, and frankly, I can't blame him for that play. You invest all that time in alt Gauntlet right there, and you're like, you know, if this is a cheeky plague or something that I can't handle, maybe I don't want to do all of that all over again.
Or a Wyvern?
Or Wyvern, well, one of the two, absolutely. Yeah, Wyvern. But Octomam is not going to be that big of a deal. It's going to be Zerk, Virus, and Go 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 is what it looks like. And what I am so amazed by is how no one saw the fact that an octopus was trying to impersonate the king. That's the one thing about it that I just... nobody saw it coming? I thought 8 arms was a dead giveaway right there, but there it is. Shake, rattle, and roll. Octomammoth is down. And we get to see another character spot as well as a key item here. And that opens up the Odin spot underneath the castle, which is a favorite for runners to go and see if they could get a free encounter or not. Oh, baby. We've got a paladin, and we've got a ball game, ladies and gentlemen. That is some damage output. You get a good sword on him, and it's over.
Well, at least it wasn't another Tella, too.
Yeah. That's true. We've already seen 3 Tellas here. So we already find worth in getting Cecil, Paladin Cecil in this place. Let's see if there's worth on the back end, too, right here with the key item. Take the long, slow march down.
I have not so far regarding chat, I have not seen a good sword yet, but yet. I could be remembering wrong.
Well, we don't find a key item, but we do find a very nice piece of gear in the Crystal Ring, which increases your speed by a lot, like 5 or 8 or something like that. And it also makes you immune to paralyzation. It's very helpful for that Golbez fight. It gives you the opportunity to raise people as the Shadow Dragon is taking them down.
Yeah, can't complain about that. Ooh, Moonblaze looks to be going to see what's in the Odin spot.
Yeah, this is a really interesting play that it seems like this play is leaning a little bit hard on whether or not you can find something free there. I'm surprised with the hook. Oh, yikes.
I do not think that's free.
That is the antithesis of free right there, Madame Dragon. I would be noping out of that in a heartbeat myself. That was a hello, goodbye. But here we go. We see that Ogre Axe. If I'm Moonblaze, and I see that Ogre Axe, and I've got a Pally Cecil in my party, I'm thinking to myself, double Ogre Axe with Pally Cecil and Sid is not such a bad place to be, especially if you can back Rogue Glitch in both.
Very true.
And we got a Dwarf Axe and an Earth Hammer purchase from Kohrek. Looks like Kohrek's upgrading what he's got right there with his Sid, and Kohrek is now going to dive into Baron and is just a little bit behind Moonblaze. Although, depending on what happens with Moonblaze when he finally takes the hook route, they could just be neck and neck. It's still anybody's ball game. We have access to the boss of the waterfall. We have access to the king of the town of monsters when we finally get underground. So it's still looking like we're looking for a crystal, a darkness crystal, and we're still looking for a Mylon Z. But those are the only things that are really, truly in our way between these runners and go mode.
Yeah. Definitely. Just need them to find those.
Just need him to find those. Also needs to find a serious answer to Odin at Rubicent. I really don't know how I would get through that. Even in some of the easier flag settings, when you had access to Zeus Rages, I still would have such an impossible time with that place. Odin at Rubicent routinely got me to either forfeit or overgrind in some ridiculous manner or other. But this is the top tier of the top tier for runners, and I am excited to see how they overcome this particular hurdle. Yeah.
And at this level, you are not likely to see somebody just forfeit it out of frustration unless there's already a dot done. There's not going to be forfeits here.
Yep. I mean, there's only one runner other than you in the so it's it's win or lose, and it doesn't matter what your time is. If you have to grind to level 78, you have to grind to level 78, and that's how you win it. The only second that matters is the second that you beat your opponent by.
Yep.
So Moonblaze is doing the dive right now down Upper Babil and is going to be greeted with the bad news. No fifth character and ugliness on the back end of the tower. And there it is.
Very ugly.
I don't know if we've seen any lightning arrows recently. It would be really helpful to have Elven Bow with lit arrows on Sid, or even get Cecil up in some levels, put him in the back row, have him back row guard people, and then throw those arrows on Cecil with some added thump. Cecil starts at level 1 as a paladin. So it's not like it's not like you can't slingshot him with that 4 times Mad Ogre fight in the Upper Babil chest, which I know when I was running this game, I preferred using that chest as a nice cheeky little grind before going through the Rubicent spot. And I can't help but think that, especially while picking up an Hourglass 2, that Moonblaze is definitely going to be doing that.
Yeah.
One of the favored strats of runners is to Hourglass 2 those Mad Ogres, and then use something of either Ogre Axe or Charm Arrows or Mute Arrows or something with an Elven Bow. Zerk and go, and you just life glitch the heck out of it. Life glitch it until the cows come home, and it's worth about 16 to 17,000 experience if you life glitch 3 of those. You count yourself 7 kills. And typically speaking, 17k experience gets you a lot of really good stuff, including from level 10, if you slingshot up Palom, it can get Palom to either 1 level before Quake, or if you actually have enough experience out of that slingshot, actually the level of Quake. It's a huge boost. It's really nice.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah. So, as we're watching our runners take the varying divergent paths here, is there anything that we're missing as far as questions here? Any side B strats that have been seen beforehand? that these runners could potentially put in play here. Something that we've seen here and there, but not too much.
Moonblaze just found an ice brand.
Ice brand is very
shop.
nice. Ice brand is very, very nice. I wonder if we're gonna
This
see
is definitely shopping percent.
Yeah, it's incredibly shopping percentage, and it kind of has to be because you're really relying on gear to get through a lot of things here. I'm wondering if we're going to see a cheeky looting of the Eblon Castle spot, maybe for a little bit extra experience. Definitely for the trapped chest value that you get out of the 3 trapped chests in there, which could each have top tier items that could make the difference in the Odin fight.
Yeah, I've done that play before, going to that castle. It's actually really good for XP.
Yeah, it's got to be good for XP, especially with the 2 of the 3 spots that you can actually decently life glitch: the 3 Mad Ogre fight and the Lamia ×2 Black Cat fight. All of those are life glitchable. You can't life glitch the skulls in the Stale Man skull fight, but I think you can life glitch the Stale Man himself, something like that. He's probably worth more anyway. And here we go, Moonblaze diving in. Says, I don't care, let's go.
Yeah, good use for the hourglass.
Yeah, this is a pretty common and standard use for the hourglass, and it looks like that ice brand in question is going right on Cecil. And we are zerking our Cid and going to town, and here it comes. And we've got charm arrows on an elven bow. It's going to be big wampum damage to these guys. That's one-shot city every single time. That's a nice, fast little grind, too. Life glitch 1, 2, 3, and Dunzo. 1659-0, yeah. Ooh, there's Quake.
And 17 levels on Cecil.
Whoa! Was that an Excalibur? Was that an Excalibur, or did I misread that?
He was off it really quickly. I couldn't tell.
I think that was an Excalibur. And that is massive for Cecil right there. Second best sword. You gotta imagine that he's waiting to go into the save point to do his menuing, and it's going right on. We've got anchoring. And here it is.
There it goes.
Boom! Right there.
Yeah, you really don't want to drop everything to throw a weapon on before you hit a save point, because that wastes a lot of time.
Yeah, it can stack up over time, all of that menuing that you can get into. More seasoned runners, in fact, try to delete menuing altogether by getting into the menu during death animations and organizing their menu from the item menu itself in battle. That way they don't have to open their menu in the overworld to take care of that. And how many more times can I say the word menu? Yeah, the crystal ring goes on Cecil. Battle speed went down to 2. There's some anchoring shenanigans going on right now with Tella being put in the center. Moonblaze is going for it. This is definitely a play.
Calbrana.
And the first part's not going to take too much of a toll on him. Calbrana, it's 6 sources of physical damage, which can be really tough. This spot has some pretty nasty physical attack power. But some good luck. Some good luck and some targets right there.
Oh, that's not good luck.
That's not good luck, but all it's going to take is another shot. Try again. Keep him up long enough to cast Quack, and that usually takes care of it. And then we've got, Moonblaze is waiting for that life potion to go off so he can throw on that cover with Cecil. Make sure that goes off, and there it is. That way Cecil takes all of the damage that Quack Kid would take, and then this encounter is donezo.
Yep. He can definitely take the damage better than poor Palom.
Yeah, poor Palom's got absolutely nothing between him and a giant fist, whereas Cecil's got diamond helm, diamond armor, a crystal ring, and oh yeah, the best, second best sword in the game.
Yeah.
Now, are we gonna see Moonblaze walk back and save?
I know I would, but...
I know I would too. Yeah, there it is. There it is. No, he's going back. He's going back. In this scenario, I mean, you're not losing a whole lot of time if you have to go back and do the Calbrena fight again, but confidence low for trying to get through this Odin fight. He's so fast, and he has so many hit points, and he hits so hard. I'm curious, what's Moonblaze gonna do, right?
And there's such a time limit on this.
And, yeah, you don't have more than a few turns right here. There it is, a big old reset from Moonblaze. Yeah, Odin's charge in this spot is probably an insta-kill. It's going to do about 2,000 damage to each character, I think. But I think what's going on is Moonblaze is trying to keep Palom on his feet in order to do a little bit of Lit 2 action. We're going to throw a Silk Web. This is a great time to throw a Silk Web. You got to slow him down. You've got to slow him down. Oh, and Palom gets sniped again.
Though I kind of question why Palom is in the front row.
Well, yeah, I do wonder about that. However, I will say that there is a good chance that Palom's going to get one shot, whether he's in the front or the back.
True, but still.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe it's the fact that the real damage output that Moonblaze is hoping for is going to come from Mr. Chief. Oh, there's the shift right there. There's the shift right there. And is this a random encounter grind?
Well, this is kind of an area where the random encounters can actually be pretty good for them.
That's right. So we got a random encounter grind from Moonblaze right now. Meanwhile, Kohrek, who has already been down here and has pretty much done everything else, is hot on his tail, going right into that 4-Mad Ogre fight. I didn't see. Was there a hourglass use right there? I think there was.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so we've got more life glitching going on right here. And this is going to be really, really tight. At the end of everything, we're going to see two runners dealing with the same exact boss fight. And we get to see if they deal with it in similar or different manners, who breaks through first, who gets lucky. This is really a tight race.
This is gonna make things exciting.
This is gonna make things really, really nail-biting. And at the end of this, you're going to have access to pretty much everything that you need, assuming you can find a Mylon Z somewhere underground. And Kohrek's about to be very, very happy about this pickup right here. Having a Pally Cecil in the party. There's Quack on the Quack Kid, and zing, bada bing, there's Caliber. You gotta be feeling really nice when you got that back-to-back pickup of Cecil and the X-Cal.
Yeah. I definitely, I mean, with knowing what boss is ahead, I wouldn't be feeling terribly comfortable, but I would be feeling a little better at this point.
Absolutely. Yeah. Kohrek knows what he's in this too. Kohrek saw it in advance and has been preparing ever since. So there's the Dwarf Axe into the Excalibur. Cecil's definitely back row glitched at this point. Sid in the front row with an Elven Bow and a single charm arrow. Gonna get the Dwarf Axe himself. And that's interesting. The Dwarf Axe nerfs your speed by 3. So putting Sid in the center with a Dwarf Axe looks like an agility anchor move, and I really like having Sid in the center with that agility anchoring. It gives Sid an advantage in damage output because your accuracy rating is increased if you're in the center slot. And out of the fight, once you're into the fight, you can go into your menu and change that in the battle, and your speed will actually stay the same, so your relative agility won't change if you change weapons.
Yep. Let's see how this goes for Moonblaze this time.
So Moonblaze sees that sword readied. What kind of roll do we get here? Throws out a virus, 16-17. And here's Odin. Survives it. So it looks like Sid and Cecil are both at relatively high enough levels to take this down. Sid and Cecil both
damage than I expected.
Yeah, it was a lot lower roll than I expected too. And there's the Zerk on Cecil. And here we go. It looks like Moonblaze has found a crack in the armor right here. And I think, yeah, that Cure 4 is definitely coming out. The problem that Moonblaze is going to have here is I think that he's relying on Pally Cecil solo. I don't know. It might be enough.
It could be.
Could be enough. I was hoping that that was the third Odin, but it was the second. That Thor Rage only doing about 120. And now, Moonblaze is a spectator.
Sit back and pray.
Yeah, it's just cranking out that damage, though. That was close to 6,000 damage in that round. Oh!
And there we go.
Pally Cecil with the X-Cal solo takes it down. Big breakthrough right there. And that is going to make Moonblaze a very, very happy runner right here. Taking down Odin with some nail-biting strats right here. Breaks on through into the underground, has access to the Town of Seven Monsters immediately, has access to objective number 3. And took a peek at the top of Lower Babel and found Golbez at the top of Lower Babel.
And Kohrek's levels are not quite in the spot that Moonblaze's were.
Yeah, Kohrek is having a little bit of time, and I have a feeling that we might actually see the same strategy from Kohrek that we saw from Moonblaze, which was a random encounter grind. He's organizing his party a little bit, a little more relative agility shenanigans here, putting Tella in the center spot. Definitely wants to get that Dwarf Axe off of Sid. Throws on some lit arrows and an elven bow. That's going to do a decent chunk of damage right there. Is going to put a crystal ring on Tella.
Moonblaze is going straight to Dwarf Castle.
Moonblaze has held absolutely nothing up. Is just going right to a fairly traditional check, 2 bosses and a key item. And right now, Kohrek is actually kind of uncertain about what he's going to do about this check. He's seen a lot of different ideas come out here, and I think that he's looking for some way, any way, to random encounter grinding. But unfortunately, I think that there has been so much time invested in this that random encounter grinding might be easy. Meanwhile, Moonblaze sees Wyvern in the Calbreda spot.
There are worse places to see it, but still, that's kind of obnoxious.
It's pretty obnoxious, all right. Paladin Cecil meets himself, so it's going to be solo Pally Cecil for yet another fight right here. And we've got the Baron Inn guard fight right where Golbez usually is. And is just taking swings at him. Doesn't do any sort of nerfing at him.
Well, the amount of health at that spot divided across the two of them isn't necessarily going to be huge, but that's going to hurt.
Get up! Oh.
That mini, however, that...
Get cooped. To answer your question, no. No, Crystal Ring does not prevent size. Zeus Gauntlets, I believe, are what prevents size. Crystal Ring prevents paralysis. So those lit arrows are coming out of Sid right now. Doing a little something different than what Moonblaze did, Kohrek is. Going with the Berserk lit arrows as opposed to the Berserk Excalibur strats. It's looking like relatively a similar amount of damage here. There is a possibility that Kohrek gets through this in a different manner just fine. There's been a lot of damage output from that lit 2, a lot of damage output from those lit arrows, a little bit from Paladin Cecil right here as well. Let's find out if it works out.
And Moonblaze again has Wyvern take out everybody but one.
Ooh, an unfortunate roll on Cecil right there. Brought a blink before Tella went down, so that helps Sid take away the little single shots that Odin does before he raises his sword in anticipation of the final blow. Zentetsuken.
Oh,
and there it is. Shake, rattle, and roll. Odin is down, and Kohrek is through in relatively a similar manner, but in an opposite way than how Moonblaze did. Instead of using Cecil, used Sid.
Yeah. And Moonblaze shouldn't have any problems with getting through this because now the guards can't cast anything.
Do we see a mute bell come out?
Yep.
Oh, baby. Love that mute bell. Mute bell is one of my favorite things for this one fight.
I've actually never used those mute bells before.
Yeah, I've only ever used one mute bell in any seed, and it's almost always on that fight that I use it on. So let's see what Luca's got around her neck. Is it going to be a vanilla Luca key, or is it going to be just a little bit more interesting?
The dwarves have a very weird idea of what makes a good necklace.
Or they have a very funny idea of a sense of humor. Oh yeah, the old drain spear find. After doing this, Moonblaze is probably cursing a little bit right now.
Yeah.
Now, this is an interesting play from Moonblaze, going for the dwarf castle and not hitting up the free spots. You have a free key item in the Land of Summoned Monsters down in the Fey March. You also have the Yang check up in Sylvan Cave, where you could go up and check Sheila 1. Moonblaze has done neither of these, has instead opted to do the Dwarf Castle immediately, it looks like, followed by Keyless Tower.
That is some interesting routing.
It's interesting, and I think what's going on here is Moonblaze might be saving the options for last. Taking a look at everything, going, I'm going to do these free checks anyway. So why not do the interesting unknown checks first? The ones that my opponent may or may not do. That way, when all is said and done, if I find something interesting, if I find value any one of my objectives here, I have that over my opponent and then can do the standard checks. Or if this is just a roll the dice sort of deal.
Could be either one.
It could be a lot of different things right here. And what's interesting about this is we've got two characters that are alive. And with two characters alive, that means that the Shadow Dragon has absolutely nothing to munch on right here. Moonblaze has it all set up for Golbez. Using piggy strats, too. Turns each of his characters into a pig so that they can't be paralyzed. And it looks like he's going to take on Golbez right here. Now, I happen to know this spot has very weak magic power. Virus is only going to be doing about 340 damage to any one person in this party. So it's not a fearsome spot when it comes to output here. However, it is a tedious spot when it comes to trying to take him down damage-wise. And I think what Moonblaze is doing here is very wise in making sure that he has control of the fight the whole way. Hold gas fizzles because there's already a status element that takes priority over paralyzation right here. You see this in the vanilla speedruns of Final Fantasy IV in the actual Golbez fight when Rosa casts Mute on the party, which also prevents that paralyzation from happening. Moonblaze Starveil's up.
Kohrek is going for Dwarf Castle too. It isn't any less of a little bit of an odd starting point rather than going to the freebie spot.
It is an odd place to start, but yeah, Kohrek might actually have just been shopping right there. Kohrek buying into that shopping percent. It looks like that's exactly what's going on. Kohrek going all the way down and doing the clockwise search of the underground.
Oh, and a cursed ring.
A cursed ring is a fantastic find there. If you don't get one in a treasure chest, know where to find one later. Buys one Soma drop. I have a feeling I know who that is going to be on.
And Golbez is down.
Golbez is down. A little bit of split experience out of the fight, and a very annoying reward. Big Bomb. And we see a reset right out of it. Moonblaze is not pleased.
Oh, apparently we were sort of looking at the wrong spot. Kohrek did complete Dwarf Castle.
Oh, great.
Thank you,
Fair enough.
Gambit.
So, we've got the free check now instead of Keyless Tower. Well, the Masamune that you find in that treasure chest is not entirely useful. We have no edge, but we don't know that we're not going to have an edge. We have no idea if this seed is edgeless or not. We've
We
only
still
seen
have-
4 characters.
There's another 3 characters to look for.
That's right. And who wants to see a Tella followed by a Tella followed by a Tella? So we've got free. We've got free over there. We've already beaten Odin. We know for a fact that ain't him. That's going to be the King Queen Eblon fight.
Well, we also know it from the fact that they're blue.
That's right.
Or that
They
it's blue.
they are a little bit off-colored, just a little bit off-colored from Odin. Odin's a little bit more vibrant in the blue, and just 1, maybe 2 heals. And this is more, I would imagine, a experience and a key item than it is a play for anything else. If you got free experience, you're gonna take it.
Yeah.
Especially with this party here, where you don't really have any real healing to deal with.
Though I'm kind of wondering which moon boss is in the other spot.
Well, we've seen Wyvern, and we've seen Paledin. So what we've got is Ogopogo, Plague, and D's Lunars.
Could be interesting.
It could be very interesting. I don't think I would want to find any of those in the Leviathan spot, frankly. And that makes this kind of a dicey proposition. If it's Ogo, Kohrek is going to throw his hands up and go, "Really? Why me?"
Yeah,
And
that
look
would
at
be a
this.
very nope rope.
Both runners are in the same exact fight. After everything is said and done, we have almost complete and total convergence right here at 1 hour and 7 minutes. Both runners completing relatively the same checks. The only difference is Moonblaze has also additionally checked the top of Lower Babel and was greeted with a swift kick in the face.
Yeah. That is... Oh, Darkness Crystal.
And there's a required key item right there, because now we have access to the vanilla white spear altar. That's the plague spot on the moon. And that is a big pickup right there for Kohrek. And now we are looking a lot more like a jet seed than we were when we were fighting Odin at Rubicent.
But Moonblaze is right behind him.
Yeah, Moonblaze hot on his tail right here. This is what, 25 seconds separate our runners right? This is so anybody's game. It can come down to a single grind fight. It can come down to a few steps. This can come down to literally anything. What is the boss? Oh, baby. It's Plague.
That's actually not as bad as it could be.
It is definitely not as bad as it could be, especially with a holy sword like the Excalibur in hand. Can take a few of those big solid swings. And this is a sort of Zerk and Chill style fight right here. I don't remember exactly how many hit points you have to chew through here, somewhere in the vein of 28 to 30,000 or something like that. But with all of the Zerking that you have, and bows and arrows, which do ×4 damage to flying type enemies, you can pretty much juggle this fight Zerk-wise to your heart's content. Kohrek's not doing the juggle strats, though. Not doing the kill off a character, revive him, reset the count strats.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Moonblaze is showing off those juggling strats on the right side. Same exact fight. And also, Cecil's got a little bit more experience, and so is doing just a little bit more damage with that Zerk. Again, this could all come down to 1 or 2 simple little grind fights. Kohrek is relying on some ATB manipulation right here, making it so that Berserk will actually always keep Cecil on his feet, even though the countdown is at 0, skipping an ATB tick that's very important, which would be Cecil's last tick. And this could actually just be Kohrek sitting there and chilling through the whole fight. And there it is.
I was thinking that might have been a mistake, but no, that's actually... I did not expect it to work so well.
It worked fantastically. We're greeted with a magma key, which is hilarious, and it also tells the story of a required hook seed.
Who doesn't love getting that when it's absolutely useless?
Yeah, but at least one more objective complete. All what we need now is Mylon Z. That's all we need.
Yeah, once they can locate Mylon Z, all they have to do is go swat the waterfall.
And Moonblaze, right on Kohrek's heels, exiting out of that fight after a successful downing of Plague. Also has his number 3 objective. And it looks like Kohrek is going to go right to objective number 2. Defeat the boss of the waterfall. Drops down a cabin, and it's going to be go, go, go. It looks like Kohrek is probably going to make a play to just have 4 out of 5 down, and then you search for Mylon Z and you hope for the best.
Who knows? Could get lucky and have Mylon Z be in the, or be up on the moon in the White Spear altar.
That's true. You
Kill
can get a
twos.
2-for-1 right there. I really like where your head's at on. That would be the jettiest of jet seeds. And then it comes down to grinding. You have 4 characters. Maybe you'll find your 5th character up on the moon in the Crystal Palace. Maybe. But I like the idea of going up to the moon and taking care of that one encounter, that one objective, because you have 6 boss locations right there. 5 in the Lunar Subterrain and 1 in Bahamut Cave.
They are thinking a lot alike right now.
They really are. We're seeing some very similar route center game, and I mean, the seed has kind of shaped where you can go and how. This is not necessarily such a surprise that these runners are doing relatively the similar thing between each other. It was just a matter of jumbling up the order on some of the overworld stuff, but largely this has been a fairly boxed-in linear seed, where you only have a few things that you can do at any given point in time. And we've got one runner, Kohrek, raising the lunar whale, and moonblazewolf getting into the Tower of Wishes to do the same exact thing. They are 20 seconds apart still, and I can't imagine that they're going to be much further apart than that for until the very end. And at this juncture, we haven't seen a Sheila 1 check, which they had available, but I don't necessarily think that it's necessary. Necessary?
It could be, or it might not be. There's still some spots that have bosses behind key items.
That's true. At this juncture, though, it is a boss hunt. We're just hunting Mylon Z, because we know what the other objective is, the Vanilla White Spiral, and that's going to be it. We are hunting objective 4 at this point, and there is a possibility that a key item gates that particular check, but if you find out that possibility, well, then more power to you that you've learned what isn't rather than what is. These Lunar Subterrain checks could just be very simple. See it, reset, move on. See it, reset, move on.
Oh, another duplicate. That is so...
So it's looking like the only way you're going to get that 5th character, maybe even the 6th character, is if you hit Zot somehow.
Yeah, character checks left is Zot, it's package and the giant.
Yeah, we know that Palom
Oh,
is in
yeah.
the Sand Ruby spot, so that check is kind of null and void.
Yeah, I was about to say Sand Ruby, then I thought about it. It's like, wait, I thought I saw Twin there.
Yeah, we got our Palom out of that already. So Sand Ruby is effectively useless, and here they both go into the Lunar Subterrain, and they are a room apart from each other. They are literally a room apart from each other.
You know, though, if this seed wants to be really trolly, I could totally see Mylon Z being at the package.
Mylon Z at package would be kind of trolly. I like the idea of Mylon Z at Mega Sisters, making it something that you could have always done, if only you had checked it.
That is mean.
So here we see Kohrek doing a little bit of grinding right here. Ooh, and gets a double life glitch off on this King Ryu. That's going to be some healthy experience right there.
Very nice.
I really like this this strategy right here. Just doing a simple grind, one grind fight. I couldn't tell. Kohrek got that purely as a random encounter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lucky pull on a random encounter because that's the rare encounter that you get from when using when you use a siren here. And yeah, that's all you need because that was 120,000 experience. Oh, I didn't realize which room he was. Not the less rare there. Well, that's a big knowledge play then. Ah! And Moonblaze finds in the D Lunar spot a very rude boss. But oh, not D Lunar spot. This is the White Spear spot. Yeah, that's the White Spear spot.
Oh, and a pan.
Well, now that's interesting. That's very interesting. Defeating Yang gives a pan so that you can hit Yang with the pan. Does Moonblaze do a weird psych out play and go hit Yang with the pan and see where it leads? Or does he just sally forth and hunt Mylon Z right?
That's a tough call.
Well, it looks like
Looks
Moonblaze
like hunt.
Yeah, we've got Dark Elf in the D Lunar spot, and he says, nope. So it looks like this is going to be a see it, reset it, see it, reset it right here.
And hope that there's not a key item behind it that leads to one of the bosses needed.
And both runners used the ouch strats on Yang right there. Yang kicks twice, and then if you hit him with Cecil once after that, it activates an AI script where Yang says, ouch, and it ends the fight. And ugh, that's an ugly spot for Baigen right there in the Ogopogo spot.
Oh, that's, yeah. Do not want.
Yeah, don't, no thank you. No please. So Moonblaze is going to go check out the Wyvern spot. This is a spot I never knew about as a kid when I was playing this game because I never thought to cross 2 blank tiles in order to get to this area. I just kept looking at that crystal sword going, Muppets, how do you get that thing? I want it. I want the sword. Just never figured it out. And it took me years and years and years. Finally, one person speedrunning this very game walks across it. It wasn't speedrunning, it was just casually playing. Walks across it, and it blew my little Muppet mind.
And there's a Kanazo.
Yeah, Kanazo at Wyvern is not exactly a great pull. Moonblaze says, nah, I'm good.
They are not being very nice.
So what's interesting here is Kohrek's actually taking the Dark Elf fight. That X-Cal Cecil is just mowing through him. You get a king's ransom of experience out of the fight. A little less than you normally would, 82k, but you get 2 key items.
And an Avenger.
And you can't be angry about an especially when Cecil's going to be your main source of damage. You Avenger glitch that X-Cal out there, and you are in the money. Moonblaze is going to check out the Pale Dim spot. And Ogopogo is in the wrong house. Ogopogo's a little early. He's supposed to be at the end, not the beginning. But Moonblaze has noped out of everything Lunar Subterrain. And so now the hunt is still on. And now this is interesting. Kohrek is actually taking the Baigan fight, too. I wonder if Kohrek is thinking, look, I'm going to get a ton of experience. I'm going to get key items here. Maybe Mylon Z is behind a key item that I don't have yet. If I make this play, it will probably be the play that Moonblaze doesn't make. Because Moonblaze is probably going to nope out of these encounters, just like my instincts told me. Maybe this could be a brainy strat right here. Meanwhile,
Demist at Bahamut.
Yeah, meanwhile, Demist at Bahamut, it's gonna hit hard. It's gonna hit really hard. Maybe we have value here.
But hey, it's 2 key items for it, so... Or, well, 2 key item possibilities.
That's true.
It can always throw a piece of equipment.
That's true. And we've seen a smattering of equipment drops from these key item locations, so really we're at 50-50 anyway. Here we see Moonblaze showing off the Demus script here and how you can recover from this really dreadful encounter. Is going with cover Cecil strats, keeping Tella and Sid in low hit points, and throwing on a blink is what it looks like. $34.56 is nothing to sneeze at when you're talking about quake damage.
Definitely not.
Moonblaze is investing an awful lot of time in this fight and is going to have to invest even more time in this fight. This fight is going to take a long time. You only have 3 swings from Demist before the AI changes him to turn to Mist. And that's it.
Kohrek just got Baigan.
Kohrek gets through Baigan, and this is starting to shape out to be pretty interesting for Kohrek. Kohrek is able to get through these really tough encounter spots, has already gone through the Plague spot, the D-Lunar spot, and the Ogopogo spot. Seems to feel fairly confident that he can get through most everything with relative ease, has the experience advantage on Moonblaze, and is only really 3 checks behind Moonblaze right now. You have to wonder if Kohrek is really just thinking, I'm gonna clean out the Lunar Subterrain and then see where I'm at.
Honestly, I think that's probably the call that he's making.
It definitely feels that way. Let's see what he does.
Even though the last spot was kind of rude and only gave Artemis Arrow.
Yeah, Artemis Arrows is not a kind get, but we also don't know who the 5th character is going to be. If we are fortunate enough to get a Rosa, we have an Elven Bow with Artemis Arrows, and that's going to do just fine. Just fine indeed. Let's see what Kohrek does when he sees Kanazo here.
That's a nope.
Goes, my mistake. Yeah, decides no thank you. Yeah, you could see him consider it for just a second and then go, nah, I'm not gonna. I am not gonna.
Yeah, that is a little bit of a nope spot for that.
So Kohrek's actually going to go back and take care of the Pale Dip plot. I didn't see if Kohrek saved or not. Now, it's looking like
Moonblaze still on D-Mist.
Yeah. I mean, Moonblaze still has a ton of hit points to chew through on this one, and it's such a brutal encounter. It's such a brutal encounter. But Moonblaze, taking advantage of one of those JP abilities, or Palom, which is Bluff, which increases Palom's magic damage by a significant amount every time you use it. And now he's got Virus cranking out for 4,500 damage.
Looks like Kohrek's going to go check out the spot that Moonblaze has been fighting.
And once again, we have our runners side by side. What's interesting about this now is that Kohrek's got the level advantage on Moonblaze right here. Who knows? Maybe Kohrek actually gains a little bit of time from doing this particular check at a higher level than Moonblaze, as Moonblaze takes it down.
And gets a Luca key.
Luca key's interesting. That's another boss location. It's another key item location. Could be the difference. It's very spicy. You don't hate to see it.
And then there's the second key item check back in, back over in.
Oh, my goodness. Kohrek just gets thumped.
Yeah, that's a little rude.
Yeah, that was some rude targeting. Some bad luck on target. Kohrek right there. Kohrek is saying no. He's going to the giant?
Interesting play, especially that could really pay off if Mylan Z happens to be hiding there.
So, this is an interesting check because, at the very least, he could potentially gain some experience from a very quick D-Machine grind if he feels so inclined, or you can get some significant amounts of experience from the 4 Fiend spot and the CPU spot, both of which give a ton right there. It'll put him over the top.
Moonblaze just got the tower key from Rydia's mother.
Okay, so we are looking at the vanilla 3 Dark Imp fight in the Super Cannon area right here. Maybe Mylan Z is there?
There is a lot of boss spots that still haven't been looked at yet.
That's right. This is a veritable needle in a stack. Because there is a vast swath of this game that has yet to be explored. Kohrek is exploring 2 boss checks that you normally wouldn't expose yourself to right here in these sorts of with this setup for these objectives. You're disinclined to go giant. Let's find out. It's a lunar boss, and that's ugly.
That would be probably D-Lunars at this point?
It's D-Lunars. It is D-Lunars. It's an ugly spot, but it is a cheesable spot because you can Lunar Frog it.
I admit, more often than not, when I get these, I end up or if it's not in a really easy spot, I end up doing the frog strat.
Absolutely. Kohrek nopes out of it for just a little bit. They were hitting relatively hard. And as Moonblaze finishes off the vanilla fight in the super cannon room, we get to see if Moonblaze is rewarded with anything interesting on the fall down the tower. Kohrek's going back into this fight with renewed vigor. And is berserking Cecil?
Oh, that
Well,
is...
the interesting thing about berserking Cecil is he's got an X-Cal, so he's going to do bonus damage to them. But this is a tough thing to do because you're activating a very nasty script here.
yeah.
Not only are you taking damage from fire, but also you are taking damage from bounced viruses. This is a risk and a half, and there is so much hit points to chew through here. I don't know if he can get through this. Moonblaze's reward is...
Adamant's not necessarily that good with what
Yeah,
is
it's not what
without.
it's not what you're looking for. That's for sure. These bounced viruses, yeah, Kohrek decides that maybe that wasn't the play. Goes back for a third try. So, I don't know about you, Madame Dragon, but to me, I gotta rely on the Lunar Frog strat, right? You gotta blink up, hope that you got somebody still on their feet, and Lunar Frog it up.
Yeah, at this point, that's probably the easiest way to get through this.
And looky, blinky, blinky. Here it comes. So fire comes out. It's a percentage-based attack. I believe it's 1/4? No, it's not 1/4. It's 10%, 15%. What is it? It's something like that. It's percentage-based. And the AI script is swing, swing, fire. Swing, 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 breath. So here we see just a little bit of patience from Kohrek. I have a feeling that's coming.
And Moonblaze just picked up the package.
So we've got yet another interesting boss check available at the package. At this juncture, you have to keep it, right? And this is not a horrible spot for Pain Man either.
Yeah, that's actually a very light hit for that.
Yeah, it takes out their Tella. It's pretty easy. Now, Kohrek has yet to activate the other side of this AI script. Oh, there he goes. So Wall fizzles, and now the AI script for the D-Lunars is to just bounce virus on each other. But because Wall fizzles, they're just going to be casting virus on each other. Or at least the one in the back is going to be casting virus on the frog. Bang. Now, what I like about this play from Kohrek is you get a decent amount of experience from this fight. And then, if the CPU check ends up being a dud, you can just warp out.
Yeah, unless you really, really want to try to see what that character spot has.
Yeah, if you are really interested in that fifth character, you could definitely take the CPU spot.
But in reality, you can do Zeramis with 4 people.
Yeah, I've even seen somebody in a competitive setting do Zeramus with a 3-person party. It is uncomfortable, but it is doable, especially at the level these runners are at. And here we see Kohrek going after the back loop. Trying to stack on that damage to the back lunar so that when the front one dies, it changes the AI script to where counter every single action done to the lunar with a fire spell, with the area of effect fire skill. And there are just so many hit points to chew through here. I've seen several 6,000 to 7,000 damage shots on that frog in the front, and still, finally takes him down. But there are so many hit points to chew through here. You hate to see someone invest all that time in this fight and have it not pay out experience-wise in the long run.
And the package is hiding a Sid.
Another dupe. Hooray. So it's Zot and Giant.
So basically, the Giant has to have a character behind.
Yeah, the Giant has to have a character. Zot has to have a character.
Zot has to have 2.
Yeah, that fair enough. So Fire Phase is doing a dirty deed to Kohrek right now. Kohrek is in a little bit of trouble. It's not looking great.
Though Moonblaze did not check the boss for the package. He only checked the actual character.
That's true. Didn't check the boss. Sheila 1 rewards Moonblaze with the Earth Crystal, and that could be impetus to check my theory that we see Mylon Z at Magus Sisters, and maybe Muppets has cursed everybody.
Maybe.
Oh! Once again, we see a Paladin Cecil pull it out at the very last moment. Kohrek gets through the fight.
If nothing else, Kohrek is giving us a darn good show.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That was a nail biter all the way. And now Kohrek is going to cabin up. And if this is Mylon Z, this race is over. Kohrek is pretty close to, if not already, Zeramus ready. If Kohrek lands this check, it is over. Hands down. What does he get? Oh, wrong Mylon!
Oh,
wrong Mylon! What a fake out! What a meme!
oh, that was just...
What a meme! But he's gonna take the fight because it's not all that difficult to fight in the long run, and Kohrek's gonna have the 5th character that he so desperately wants. And moonblazewolf sees vanilla Magus Sisters.
Are you sure this was randomized?
I mean, so we've seen vanilla Dark Imps, vanilla Magus Sisters. There was one other vanilla spot we saw too. But this has been a very strange seed. What looks to have been a jet seed has actually turned out to be a tad bit of a slog. And Kohrek's just waiting for the, oh, my body. There it is.
Oh, there's a Rosa.
Baby. You know her, you love her. She heals for a truckload of damage. Rosa. And Kohrek's through the CPU fight. And who's Kohrek rewarded with? A Sid! Wow! So the two other characters had to be on Zod. Moonblaze found them both. It's Yang and it's Rosa. Says absolutely not to Yang.
This is troll-tastic.
Absolutely.
This really was... Oh!
Moonblaze finds the most value, and now Kohrek is in deep, deep trouble.
Oh, that is a very good point. We're still missing one character, so it may be the bed was actually Porum and not Palom.
And that's true. True.
And this is not looking good for Kohrek.
Yeah, Kohrek is behind the 8-ball right now. Has to do the pan thing, is doing the pan. Definitely going, I've got to get max value out of every play now because my giant play did not pan out, so to speak. And so now I've got to figure out a way to stop from frying my chances, as it were.
Oh, jeez. Do I need to call for the pun police again?
Sorry, not sorry. So now, is Moonblaze going to be Zeromus ready coming out of? I cannot tell if Moonblaze is going to be Zeromus ready coming out of this. Definitely has the key items for a grind, if not.
And there's definitely good access to grinding at this point.
There's great access to grinding. The thing is, you have the path. You are not necessarily in Zeromus territory with your healer, but you can double Zerk and anchor decently with that. You got Sid and you've got Cecil for that double Zerk action. You've got Tella for your anchor. You've got AoE healing for Rosa, and then after that, it's just thump and go.
And it looks like Kohrek's giving us music.
Yeah, Kohrek's gonna give us music, and the music is going to be the sound of the nail in his coffin because this is not the play. He's doing a percentage play, I think, because he's got access to... Oh, he doesn't have that Earth Crystal. He's checking the Twin Harp and has not checked Sheila yet.
Yeah, that's not so good.
Well, now Moonblaze isn't necessarily doing the fastest grind here. I see a trapdoor grind in Moonblaze's future. It's been a hot minute since I've seen a trapdoor grind. And beautifully, Tella gets dropped by that disrupt. A monster appeared. But over in Kohrek's stream, we've got music, and this is where I shut my yapper. And we listen to the dulcet sounds of 16-bit versions of music.
Yep.
I love me some Final Fantasy 1, and if that ain't the volcano or whatever, it's I didn't live through the NES era. That's a wonderful track and a wonderful rendition of that track.
Very catchy.
Very catchy. And we've got Ashura there. Now, the beautiful thing about Ashura is that Cure 3 is not going to... Absolutely like, the magic defense is so great that things practically fizzle in it. Cure 4 still will do a full heal, but Cure 3 will do nothing and Life 1 does nothing, so that's a 1 of 3. And all it takes is a couple swipes for Kohrek, and it's over.
But with every check, he's getting a little further behind.
But at least this check doesn't get him the furthest behind, because that is a dead end right there. There is no check to make after that, so Kohrek has to go and check Sheila now, right? He's got to do it. And if he checks Sheila and goes Earth Crystal, there might be a chance. It's going to take a Zeromus wipe from Moonblaze, but there might be a chance. He's got the levels. He is Zeromus ready. Is Kohrek
checking Earth Crystal's Zot?
So, does Kohrek have the Earth Crystal and we just missed it?
I do not think so.
Because if he thinks he has Earth Crystal, this could be catastrophic. And if he doesn't, and he's just doing the Mega Sister spot to see if it's perhaps a sneaky little Mylon Z get right there.
It's still pretty much catastrophic.
It's low percentage, but it's pretty catastrophic. The only difference is that maybe it makes him disinclined to do this after finding the Earth Crystal from Sheila 2, if he's even going to do the check at all. Yeah, here's the check. And there's the reset. And now he's gonna go check Sheila 2, but it's looking like it's over right here.
Yeah.
Because Moonblaze is ready. What's Moonblaze doing now? A little shopping? So Kohrek gets the Earth Crystal and a lightsaber. So it's looking like the answer was always panless. Didn't need the pan to get the Earth Crystal because that was just the Sheila 1 check.
Yeah. So in reality, they've actually had access to it for a little while.
Yeah, it's pretty tough to see that. And Kohrek, I think, sees the writing on the wall and goes, uh-oh, I gotta get my butt up Zot Tower, but it's gonna be too little too late because we have everybody's favorite question. And Imperial, what question is that?
Whose butt are we gonna kick tonight?
And once again, I'd like to shout out to Scala Kitty, who has imbued this randomizer with over 400 different sprites. When you use the crystal on the first form of Zeromus, he transforms into what his true form is, and it can be any one of 400 different meme-like forms. We've got our Rosa at a decent level for Cure 4. We've got Cecil thumping away at some level 48. We've got a nice anchor in our Tella. I think this one might be in the bag. It's going to be a bit of a slog, this fight for Moonblaze, but I think Moonblaze is going to have it well under control. What's your favorite sprite that you've seen, Imperial?
There's been so many.
Yeah, I know.
Really
I know. It's
good.
hard to keep track of them.
It's hard to pick one.
I really think RNG was my favorite. After a particularly trolly seed, to be fighting the letters RNG may have been the funniest thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah, that one is really good.
Here we go. Ah!
Hypnomus.
It's Hypnotoad! Everybody loves Hypnotoad, and a very nice Futurama reference right there. Oh, baby, that's a quick shake. That's a quick shake. Gets that silk web off, and it's going to do a lot to mitigate the speed of Zeromus right here. Nuke counter goes right on Sid for the tune of 1896. It's not going to kill Sid, especially after the Big Bang. The Big Bang is not going to kill Sid. Here we go. It's Zerk and go time. Oh, it did kill Sid! Oh no!
That's not so good.
Well, I mean, the fight is truly in Cecil's court right now anyway. This is the Paladin's fight, through and through. Excalibur Zerk Cecil is almost always the answer if you don't have a Crystal Sword Cecil. And with that thump, 4,000, 3,800, 4,400, 4,200, you're going to see that that damage flip to Phase 2 in relative short order. And I think that's what Moonblaze is hoping for right there.
And there's Kohrek finding my own Z.
And that's Shake, Rattle, and Roll on Kohrek's stream right there. And he's going to be rewarded the crystal as soon as he's done with this fight. And being Zeromus ready with a Rosa that's level 10 is...
There's a reset.
Oh, Moonblaze wipes! That puts Kohrek back into striking distance.
That is interesting.
Moonblaze isn't going to do any different setup right here, is going right back in for a second helping. The anchoring doesn't change whatsoever. Does Moonblaze have access to a cursed ring? I forget. I thought he did, but maybe not.
I'm pretty sure both of them bought them.
I'm pretty sure both of them have a cursed ring. If the cursed ring is not on Tella, maybe that's something that Moonblaze has maybe forgotten about or whatever. But Kohrek has the crystal, is in go mode. Is Kohrek going to take the time to level up Rosa, or is Kohrek just going to hit the panic button and go? Kohrek's checking a shop right now. Star Veils. Buys a stack of 10 Star Veils. Oh, and he's going. Yeah, he says, I don't have time for this. It's time to go. It's got a few more levels on Cecil, I think. Oh no, is almost exactly the same level as Cecil. And is going to take Rosa's agility instead of Sid's agility to this. I really like that, actually. You have a low level character right there. You may as well take advantage. The question now becomes, can Kohrek sustain a Zeromus fight with this party with almost no healing?
That is gonna be a tough one.
It's gonna be really, really tough. If Kohrek can pull this one out, though, this will be a heck of an upset.
I will say this, they're giving us a heck of a race tonight.
This is an incredible race. And there have been nail-biting strats the entire race from both of these runners. Exciting, to say the least. Exciting, to say the least. Moonblaze has a little bit more stable of a party with a Rosa that can cure 4. Has low hit points on that Rosa. One high-rolled Big Bang is all it'll take to drop her in one shot. Kohrek's about to get into the fight right now. Is this going to be a Cure 3 chucking Sid and a solo Cecil? Oh, baby. That was a quick shake. That was a very quick shake. First turn. Gets that Berserk off. Next. Looking for that Silk Web. Finds the Silk Web and tosses it. And there's the shake. Just in the nick of time. And here it comes. Silk Web. And throws out a defend against with Sid. And I don't know that I would do that because that nuke counter hits Cecil and that puts Cecil at a pretty low hit point total. And he doesn't care because he's hoping for a low roll on Tella. Oh, gets the low roll.
So close.
It's incredibly close. He's relying on Tella's cure to take most of the damage mitigation here. And tossing Cure 2s for the fight. And now he's throwing a Star Veil. Unnerfed Big Bang coming out from Moonblaze. Oh, no, it's nerfed. It's nerfed. And so now we see the real power party, or at least the part of this party that's worth in the first place coming out. Earthhammer Sid, Excalibur Cecil, and we've got Rosa following up with the healing. It's sort of stable, but it's not the most comfortable place to be. Meanwhile, Kohrek is looking down saying, oh right, Tella only has 99 MP. Or 90 MP or whatever. And is about to eat a Big Bang here. And that's a full party wipe for Kohrek. Kohrek has 10 key items right now. A grind would be very quick. But is committing to the bit, and we have falling rocks on Moonblaze's side, which means that it's just about over.
Yep.
Moonblaze is about to take it down. And there it is.
There we go.
Sayonara. We managed to get in under 2 hours. I didn't think it was going to happen with how trolly this seed was.
That was a good one.
That was an incredible race. That was an incredible race. Moonblaze takes it down and moves on with a time of 1 hour, 58 minutes, 49 seconds. Moonblazewolf, welcome and very, very good game. Congratulations. Talk to us. How you feeling?
Oh man, that seed was such a roller coaster. I feel very, very, very fortunate that I came out of that with the win. So, yeah, just GG's to Kohrek. That was a tough one, and I'm just really fortunate to have made it through.
Moonblaze, I got to tell you, the number of times that you two were literally 20 seconds apart from each other this seed, all the way up through to some of the final checks, was incredible. When you went for the pan check, talk to us a little bit about why you did that check over the other 2 checks that you had available to you, because you did have the twin harp.
Yeah, I think at that point, I had boss checks that I could do. I was basically ignoring the giant till last, but I had package I could do, and I had twin harp, and I wasn't really excited about either of those. I really wanted earth crystal, and so I figured pan. That was the best time to do pan because I wasn't going to be coming back to the underground anyway, and it's en route for the objectives of the seed, so I didn't want to put it off too long, just because if there was something important there and Kohrek had gone straight from pan back to earth and checked it, he could be ahead. So that was kind of the rationale there. And then when I saw earth crystal, I knew I wanted to check that first.
Yeah.
Well, that rationale definitely worked out for you.
Absolutely. So you see Mylon Z there. You also see the other 2 characters that you could possibly get right there in Yang and Rosa, and I saw you immediately toss Yang to the side. So you have a level 10 Rosa, and she's pretty much going to be your best source of healing, and your grind options are actually wide open. Talk to us a little bit about your door grind there. Why'd you choose the door grind?
I'm just really comfortable doing the door grind, and I knew I didn't have to get Rosa too many levels because I really just needed her to get Cure 4 and ideally like 1800 hit points or so, so that's kind of what I was going for. And then my strategy was just to duo the fight with Cecil and Rosa and have Sid sort of help out as a backup DPS/healer if need be.
Let's go all the way back to the overworld, and we only have the hook, and we know that Odin is in the Rubicon spot. You see that? What are you thinking?
Originally I was like, man, I need to get some lit arrows. But after doing the trap chest and getting the Excalibur, I'm like, okay, I think I got this. I've actually fought Odin at that spot pretty recently, so I knew like 1,000 hit points probably would make it so that my Cecil and Sid could survive the whatever the sword attack. I can't say the fancy awesome
Zantetsuken.
Yes, I'll let you say it. So I knew
I mispronounce
that,
everything.
So yes, I knew that I could survive that. I did basically one attempt. I was like, okay, I just need to take a couple grind fights and just get through this because this is a serious roadblock, and I'm not going all the way back out to look for like lit arrows or something like that. So, so it was just, it turned out to be about right. But yeah, without that X-Cal, that would have been so hard. So I felt like I routed everything in that early game really well, and then just kind of didn't try to force the boss, just sort of, made sure that I could work my way through it. And then after I got underground, I started making lots of mistakes, or not mistakes, but maybe plays that did not pay off, considering how free and full of the goods that Fey March was. So
right. Yeah, you were leading off with the Dwarf Castle, and then you did Keyless Tower after. Why'd you start with the Dwarf Castle?
I knew I wanted a character. I was really hoping to find a white mage or something else to round out my party. Right. And then, so that was so weird. So the Wyvern, I actually got through the Wyvern the first time and then got killed by the guards because I thought that the Crystal Ring protected me from Mini. So I had to redo that fight. And then after that was all done, I was like, oh, hey, most of my party's dead. And I knew from kind of scouting Kohrek that he seemed pretty risk averse to me. So there weren't a lot of checks left, and I figured Golbez at the top of tower was free. It was just a little bit of a time investment, so I decided to go there next, and that didn't really pay off either. But hey, I feel like in theory it was a good play. It just didn't pay off at all.
Well, Moonblaze, my goodness, what a race right up to the end. Imperial, do you have anything you wish to ask our victor?
Not really. Just want to say, great job. And you kept us very entertained.
That was incredible. From the time that you broke through the underground to all of the boss checks on the Lunar Subterrain, and then the one that paid off, that caused you to check Sheila 1, get the Earth Crystal, and the decision to do that. Like, it was definitely a roller coaster, and good on you to keep your wits about you. Very well raised. Any last thoughts, Moonblaze?
No, I just want to say thank you to everybody who helped out with the restream today. There's so many good players in the community right now. I'm really glad we have Kohrek as part of the community too. He's a fantastic runner, and I really hope he sticks around and does some more events with us in the future, because it's been a blast watching him play and getting to converse with him a little bit throughout the event. So thanks everybody for helping put on the show. Thanks here in the booth, Muppets and Imperial. I'm sure you all did a fantastic job, and I can't wait to go back and watch the VOD and hear just 2 hours of incredible commentary and everything else. So thanks everybody. I'll see you in the quarterfinals, and yeah, this is pretty exciting for me. I'm really happy right now.
Yeah, congratulations, Moonblaze. Well done.
Thanks.
And it looks like Kohrek decided to hit up the treasure over in Troya Cast.
So it looks like, Kohrek is looking to finish out right here. Says this is more about the feel of it than it is about the win. Is gonna check the pink tail, I think, and continue on, because I detect another attempt at Zeromus right here. It's looking for something, anything to tip the scale. That'll do.
Yeah, that definitely is not bad.
Yep. And it's got to go on Tella, because Tella's going to be the one who will actually be cranking out the healing. I think that we're about to see another attempt at Zeromus right here. Gosh, the stamina, the mental stamina it takes to actually go after that after taking, I think it was 3 wipes so far, and even after your opponent has done, not enough can be said about that. Win, lose, or draw, just the fact that Kohrek is going back for more is really impressive, and not enough can be said about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's absolutely no quit in this guy, and you gotta respect it. You've got to respect it.
Yeah. I'm one of those one of the no forfeit, or it takes tech difficulties to make me forfeit, but yeah.
Right. And I mean, after a certain point, if what's gonna take you to get over the top is another 15-20 minutes, yeah, you might see me go, nah, it's okay, it's already. But if I'm there in the final fight, if I can taste the end, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it every time. And good on Kohrek for doing this right here. Gonna continue with the Rosa as the anchor. Maybe that white shirt puts him over the top as far as defense enough to dodge some big bangage. That second shake is pretty fast, though.
And hit no miss again.
And now we see Avenger Strat coming out. And I love me some Avenger Strat. We've got Zerk already. There it is. 4,300, 1,600. Here comes that sweet shake. Silkweb comes out. And that's an unfriendly target for that counter. That is an unfriendly target. because that's pretty much all of Kohrek's healing right there.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see.
As the defend from Rosa, I have a feeling that we're going to see Palom throw a life potion down on Mr. Tella right there. Yeah. Rosa takes a nap. Here comes that life potion on Tella. I don't know that Kohrek's party is going to be fast enough to actually have Tella get a Cure 4 off here. Well, I'm wrong. And Starvale? Why Starvale? I'm curious.
Maybe. What's Porum have for damage spells, I wonder?
Porum's got Virus. Porum's got Fire Ice Lit 3. But yeah, he's got to nerf the Big Bang, I think, is going on here. So he's tossing a Silk Web and is seeing if he can actually keep Tella on his feet. On this, Cecil takes the counter nuke, which is kind of ugly. Ooh, for an ugly amount of damage, too.
Oh, that's not good.
Oh, but that's damage flip right there. That hesitation, that puts Zeromus into phase 2. Maybe the Big Bang doesn't come off? Oh, no, it does.
It did.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. And also, one of the worst spots to get that damage flip right there. Oh. And that's it right there.
Yeah.
And as Simbu pointed out, it was a phase change, but it was right after Big Bang was already queued, so it doesn't actually nullify the Big Bang itself. It just... You don't get any of the positive effects from that damage flip. And this is going to be an unnerfed Big Bang, and that's going to be Rip Sid. And that's going to be a reset city. It just barely rips Sid, too.
Sid has some good hit points.
Sid has some great hit points. And that looks to be it? Is he... He's thinking about it. He's getting his mind right. I really hope that he gets his mind right on this for it.
I mean, I've had points where I wiped badly, took a minute to step back and catch my breath, and then went back at. It could
Which,
be
you know,
either
if that's what's happening, that would be amazing. Yeah, come on, just say yes. Just say yes, Kohrek. Do it to it. You know you can do it to it.
Come on, Kohrek, you can do this.
There it is. And he's diving in one more time. Oh. So, now we're watching a new race, and it's more of a marathon than any. Yeah, the winner of this particular race has been set, but I am invested in a new story now, and that is Kohrek finishing this seed in the manner that he has it set up at. And I am all about this right now. This is just as exciting as the race, and I desperately want him to see him pull this one out.
Yeah, this is definitely... Sticking with this is awesome.
So Zeromus gets his first shake right there. Same setup as before. But now, Tella actually gets an opportunity And he's going to Star Veil. He's going to make sure that that counter nuke doesn't take his Tella out. It's a little bit more of an assurance.
Good move.
Yeah, it's a very good move. And what I really enjoy about this is that Kohrek's relying on the Avenger to make sure that Cecil is pumping out the damage with that Excalibur.
I do not remember seeing cure potions anywhere.
He's got a couple of cure 2s, and he's got a cure 3, but as far as for sale, I certainly didn't remember seeing any either. Now he's changed up his strategy a little bit here. He's throwing out a Silk Web, and he's keeping Sid queued up and ready to go. And there it is, a counter nuke on the Reflect, which is beautiful. And he saw it coming. Now he's thinking, do I change it up or do I Bacchus? And he Bacchuses. He goes right for it. And here comes the Berserk. First Big Bang comes out. It could still high roll Tella. It doesn't. It doesn't.
Good.
So
That's
Tella
very
has, Tella's got enough hit points to survive. And Palom actually has a turn coming up, and I'm seeing a Cure 2 thrown right here. There's quite a bit more healing with that white shirt. That white shirt actually made a huge difference. And now the question is, you have to nerf, right? You have to nerf Big Bangs if you're going to have Tella survive this, if he's your source of damage mitigation, if he's your source of healing.
Yeah, there's no other way to do it than nerf.
Yeah, you have to nerf. And there's the shake.
There's the Silk Web.
Yeah, here comes the second Silk Web. Tosses that out there. Counter nuke on Sid, that's not a bad place to be. Sid's got enough cushion. He's also doing a good lot of damage with that bow and arrow, too. 1729 is a great thing to see out of a utility character like Sid. I haven't seen the Big Bang come out yet. Did we damage flip before we could Q it? I think we did. Otherwise, we would have seen it by now. And there's the second shake, which signifies the second Big Bang for that phase. And here comes the Silk Web. Silk Web hits the least useful character, Palom, and that's it for him. Very nice. This could actually be it. If this is nerfed, if he got within the window. He got in the window.
Got it.
Ground Flyer, to answer your question, how narrow is the Big Bang nerf timing? I don't know specifically, but it is very narrow. Like, it is incredibly narrow. Paladin Cecil is at full hit points with an X-Cal and an Avenger Sword. Does not need to be Zerked again because of that Avenger Sword. I think the damage output here could potentially be enough. The White Robe moved that healing from 700 AoE to 1492 from Tella.
That is nice.
Yeah, it's incredibly nice out of Tella, and a wonderful, wonderful target for Nuke coming from Sid right there. Sid taking 1900 damage and still standing. Oh, we've got
Rocks
falling
fall.
rocks. Kohrek's gonna pull it out.
Nice.
Oh, I wanted the Sid kill. Oh, that's it! Boom! Kohrek's through the fight, and low levels. A really suboptimal setup as far as healing goes, and actually takes care of it. A couple of really bad luck rolls and a couple of really tough spots in his early attempts is what the difference was between win or lose in those particular fights. But finally gets it done in the setup that he had. What a great fight. Kohrek, thank you for joining us. Very nice Zeromus fight in the end there. Very well done, and what a race. Talk to me.
Well, thank you. Boy, I really wasn't feeling good about this race for like the entire thing, and when I found out where Mylon Z was, I was really kind of confused why moonblazewolf wasn't finished yet, but then it came pretty soon thereafter. So, you know, sometimes you make some plays that don't work out. Sometimes you derp up a fight a little bit here and there. All in all, I probably did play pretty well, and we got to finish it out with a 900 HP Tela healing Zeromus. So, you know, there are some definite high notes here, and it's been a really fun one. So.
I gotta tell you, anytime that Tela is your main sort of healing, the Zeromus fight is just about the opposite of comfortable as it can get. I mean, I'll take Cure 3 throwing over relying on Tela every day of the week. So, I mean, what a great end to that. And I got to tell you, Kohrek, this entire race, all the way up through both runners, both you and Moonblaze, doing the Lunar Subterrain, you were like 20 seconds behind each other at various points. It was incredibly close the whole way. The only difference is that he checked Sheila before you did. That was the only difference in this. You guys were neck and neck the whole way. And in fact, you actually gained some time in the underground. And talk to me about your underground route for a second here, because you did a few different things than Moonblaze, and I just kind of want to highlight some of that.
Let me think. I went immediately to Dwarf Castle. I felt with that Excal I picked up that it was just going to be really simple. We had a well-defended Excal Cecil that could get Zerked, so I figured we could get through that and possibly get a 5th character. It didn't work out, but you know, I wanted to check all the shops to see if I could get a curse string before I leveled up Tela or Sid. It's really awkward because you know you want, generally you would want one of them to be your anchor at the end, but if they're not your anchor, or like if you find a curse string, it's better for them to have more HP than less HP. So when before you start taking a lot of the high HP or high XP spots underground, you want to figure that part out. So checked the shops, found that curse string, felt pretty good about that. Then I went down to Fey March and it's like, oh, free. Okay, well, let's just get this done. And now I have access to, you know, the majority of the bosses in the game, and I just need a boss hunt for go mode. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, one thing that Imperial and I were noticing is right off the bat, this was a deceptive seed because with the objectives that were laid out, it looked for all intents and purposes to be a jet seed. But then you went down earlier to the Upper Babel spot and saw Odin at Rubicent. And talk to me about what you were thinking about when you saw that.
Well, that's a very tough fight for most parties, I would say, and it was certainly looking that way for a very long time. That's why even before I did the Baron Castle check, I was walking through, I checked every single weapon shop, and it happened to be the last one that had lit arrows, but I had a feeling that lit arrows would be my way through that with a Zerked Sid, which ultimately did prove to be the case. Even though we did find Cecil, I stuck with my original plan there because he has that HP pool that can get over that first Odin, and you get him blinked, he can generally get it done with some lit arrows before the second one would come out. So it was a plan, but it did slow me down quite a bit in the overworld. Plus, you never know who's going to be at that King Queen Evelyn spot. That can be just as bad as Odin at Ruby sometimes, depending on who's
absolutely
there.
can be. Well, I gotta tell you, one thing that Imperial is saying that I totally is that you were showing off some pro stuff. The nail biters that it looked like you were ending these solo Cecil for Odin, or solo Sid for Odin, and then your choice for zerking through Plague, your choice for getting through the D Lunar spot, and how you did all of that. It showed off a significant amount of experience and skill there that, I mean, you took a lot of risks that I wouldn't, and a lot of them really paid off. And even going giant and coming up empty, you still made it like one of the closest races that I have ever seen.
Yeah, that was amazing.
It was incredible. And not enough can be said about what you were able to show off there. It was just, you turned left when you should have turned right at about 1:45, and that's it. That's all it was. So well raced. Imperial?
I just want to say, well done, and I'm glad that you finished that. That was
Absolutely.
that
Absolutely.
was wonderful.
Yeah. Well, and by finishing it like you did, you also showed off that you can be as suboptimal as that in the Zeromus fight, and you can still get through it. And not just get through it, but get through it with confidence and authority. So well played on that too.
Yeah, one of the big things with this game, as I've learned it, is it really helps to know what's possible. Like, it's not always easy, and you might not always get it the first time, but I knew that fight was possible. That white robe made it much more possible, but even without it, there was definitely a way to get it done. But that's just a big part about learning this game. Is one is what's possible, and two is how quickly can you do it, and then knowing where to go at that point. So
absolutely. Well, thank you very much for showing off all of the different possibilities that you could, Kohrek, and well raced, man. It was quite enjoyable. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you guys for commentating in the restream, and it was a lot of fun.
Well, Imperial, I don't know about you, but that was one of the most exciting bracket rounds that I've ever seen. How about you?
I've seen some good ones, but yeah, that was probably one of the best I've seen today.
And what's funny is I find myself saying that time and time and time again, which just goes to show you how evenly matched up a lot of these runners really are. We're seeing a lot of neck and neck spots, and a lot of places where people are weaving in and out of each other's paths, and then they're just mere minutes or seconds away from each other, and it's just so exciting. And if you want to see more, stay tuned, because we're about to raid Commander Leonhardt, who is currently doing a Swiss rounds flag seed. So if you want more free enterprise, go ahead and stick around. Imperial?
Have a good night, folks, and